Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of A Quick Chat with Psychic Medium Chantel Miranda. That's me. How you going, guys? Look, today, I know I said I started at 7:27, but you got to forgive me. Queensland, we don't change our time. So the person I've got coming next, which is Jay, he's from New South Wales. So we got mixed up with the time, and after he has this little chat here, or, we talk to him, he has to straight away log off because he's got another psychic medium reading to do. So we're going to not talk so much now. I'm going to bring him right in and we'll start straight off. So if you were trying to tune in later on, please forgive me. Don't be too hard. I am, this is my second episode on spiritual talk. For those who are going to join me later on, I just want to let you know the way we do things is we're going to talk about all spiritual things. So we've got psychics that are going to come in, tarot reading, oracle readers, healers. If you have a psychic expo, shows, whatever you do, let us know. We would love to know more about you, what you do, so we can spread the word around and make connections. So it's pretty much about connecting. All right, without any further, I'll talk to you at the end of the show. Let's bring the beautiful Jay himself. Hello, hello. Oh, and again, there you are. How are you going, Jay?
Hello, how are you?
I am very well, thank you. And thank you for coming today. I know you're a very busy man doing radio events and psychic reading and having a big family. So I do really appreciate your time tonight to be able to join me.
No worries. Thanks for.
Jay, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I'm from the Riverina, New South Wales. So definitely about 2 hours from Wagga, about 6 hours from Sydney.
Oh, wow. That is inland.
Pretty much in the middle of in between Sydney and Melbourne.
Oh, wow. And how long will it take for you to drive to Melbourne?
About 5.
Oh, okay. So 5 hours to Melbourne, so you're closer to Melbourne by an hour.
Yeah, about that. Yeah. Except now, it'll be a bit longer now because there's diversions for the floods and stuff.
We've been having horrible weather, and that's another subject I wanted to say quickly, send a lot of, love and light and healing and everything to those who are really affected with these weathers. It's been crazy times.
Yeah, as a collective, I think there's been a lot of us that have been sending a lot of healing as a collective, and it's really amazing the way that it works because I've got my own group, as you know, and as a collective, we also send healing for the fires, and it's like it's not so much that it's a small gesture, but it is kind of a small gesture, but the power that gesture has is amazing.
You just said something about collective and that I know about. You got me confused. I don't.
Oh,
can you
my
actually
group.
Explain? Let's talk about your group. What is your group? Let's explain to those who are out there listening to you because they don't know anything about you. How about we introduce you again?
Yeah.
Jay is an intuitive, spiritual. Go on, introduce yourself.
So my name's Jay Reynolds, and I'm a spiritual intuitive, which is just another name for psychic medium. I do kind of shy away from the name psychic medium because of the stamina that comes around it most times, but definitely I am able to communicate with spirit. I'm able to do predictions and stuff like that. I do have my own group on Facebook called Jay Reynolds Spiritual Intuitive. You just have to look it up. I'm pretty sure Chantel's put the link on there for you guys.
I think it's crossing now, yes.
Okay. So, I've been doing this for a number of years now. I've come out of the spiritual closet probably about 4 years ago now professionally to do it. I'm on the Psychic TV television program. I run my own radio program with one of my students who is also one of my really good friends. My wife and I run Mind, Body, Spirit Psychic Expos in our local area as well as another town. So it's pretty full on. I've got clients all over the world from the UK. I've got a lovely lady in Savannah, Georgia, USA. I've also got other people from like the Philippines and stuff like that. So yeah,
All
this
right.
pro.
I love this already, Jay. Whoa, we've got a lot to break down in 45 minutes. Let's
Yeah.
start from the beginning. You said you've come out of the wardrobe. I call it the closet,
Yep.
but that's the matter. It's the same thing.
Yep.
4 years ago, can you
Yep.
please take us to that journey? How did you know you were going through this, or how did you even know? Explain yourself
Yep.
to those people out there who are feeling similar.
Yeah. So unfortunately, 10 years ago, I lost my mum to cancer, and in our old house where we were before we brought our new home, I used to have to drive past the cemetery every day. So I drove past the cemetery every day, and I'd say, hi mum, all the time, because her grave was on the roadside. And then one day I was driving past and I said, hi mum, and I heard, hi mate, like that. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I don't mean to swear on your show.
My hairs have gone up. Oh my God.
So
I
I
don't
was
have
like,
any bleep, so don't worry. Holy shit.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, apologies. But anyway, I don't shy away from it. I'm down to earth. So.
Oh my God, good. I love people who are grounded. Listen, my
So,
hairs have gone completely. Oh, okay, go on. I love it.
so I was like, oh, that's a little bit different. So, and my mum had like a really funny sense of humour, but also it mixed in with a dry. So that kept going for a couple of weeks. Hi mum and hi mate kind of thing. And then I thought, oh, maybe I was just thinking that up. And then one day I drove past on my way to work and I said, hi mum, how is everything? And out of nowhere, this voice, oh, how are you? And out of nowhere, this voice goes, well, I'm still dead. And so I'm like, that's really kind of strange. So I decided to book myself in to see a psychic. And when I went and seen this psychic said, oh, I feel like I've got your mum here. And I'm like, yep, no worries. And then she goes, oh, your mum wants you to know that she's still dead. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then they said, which what my mum has used to say all the time, how did you know this? How do you know that? But they said, you know, like that psychic said, you know, you have the abilities to communicate with spirit. And I'm like, oh, okay, no worries. And that was kind of the setting off. But once I opened up to that and accepted that, I realized that the abilities were there a lot before, but I'd shut them out because life gets in the way, if that makes sense. Like I was getting married. We have 3 children, 1 beautiful child in spirit, and you know things gets in the way, but life happens.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We got to do life. We are spirit living human experiences, so you got to continue with your everyday life.
Yeah, but the thing is, and you'll agree with this, spiritual connection, they don't hold off forever. So, you know, over time, it will be, you've got to do it now. And you'll get that feeling and you'll just open to that.
Would you say that's your solar plex, intuitive, gut feeling that just goes, yep, you know?
Yeah. And it's almost literally like they're like, if you don't do it now, we're just going to force you. So we're just going to be selling you.
Knocking on the door like Shelton, saying to Peggy, you know that show?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they'll be saying, Jay, you know we're here, Jay.
Yeah, and that's what
I'm loving it. Yeah.
That's what it was like. And then I had a little bit of a rough beginning because I didn't know where to go or anything like that. And one of my biggest things was that everyone that wants to open up to this kind of work, they have a very stereotypical outlook on things because of how movies and television and everything has Hollywoodified it. But yeah, so I did have a little bit of a rough beginning to begin with. But then once I just sat down and was like, it can't be this difficult, everything just was like, no, it's not. So it's been a really up and down journey, but I must say that once I got myself sorted and grounded and really got in control of my ego, then everything started to go very well. My business took off, and you know, I got accepted for television, I got accepted for radio, So everything is just, and it's simple. If you know the analogy, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So
Actually, my partner says that, yeah, and I agree with him. Yeah.
so once you keep it simple and don't try to yeah, the trouble is, I think people dive in really quickly and they want to be able to do this, and this, and it's like, just concentrate, master something, and then if you feel, you move on.
That's what I
So
think. I always say as well to the people that I teach spiritual awakening,
yeah,
stick to your strength, because that's the one that's going to guide you. And
exactly.
going back to a little thing now, can you explain and break it down for us when you said, I had it rough? I had it rough. You said it a couple of times. I had it rough.
Yeah.
I had it rough. Can you explain to me what rough looks like to you?
Yeah, I did. I had it rough to. I had it rough to begin with because it's very hard to just come out and say, you know what, I can communicate with spirit. Especially because my wife and I have been together for so long, and I've been incorporated into her family, and you know, none of this was brought up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, just so you know, I talk to dead people. So, and it was the same with my dad. He just lost my mum, and then I'm like, oh, I've been talking to mum. So, you know, it was rough to begin with, and also it was rough because the people that were around me that were within this field, I guess there was probably a little bit of they may have felt a little bit threatened, so there was a little bit of ill advice put towards me, try to turn me off it, and all that kind of stuff. You know, just the kind of stuff like, oh, you've got to know what you're getting into, and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. And then they were like, oh, you're probably not, and I'm like, well, I think I am. So it was all about trusting myself. So it was rough in the beginning, but now I look back on that, and it helped me because it allows me to, when I do my spiritual teaching, because I've got, I run quite a few workshops throughout the year. It allows me to realize that as a spiritual teacher, you know, the students don't need the teacher. The teacher needs, you know, we need them just as much as they need us, sort of thing. And as teachers, we should learn something new every time because our students have got so much to give.
That's so true. I mean, we were beginners too. You know, I so agree with you, Jane. That's why I love the way you work, and I love you as a person as well. When I was also opening up, I had a lot of interesting encounter with people calling themselves teachers. I paid big bucks because I knew from a little girl I could see spirit, but for me, my biggest hit was 5 years ago. That was like the kick in the butt. Coming from a fifth generation, I never pictured myself doing this. Now I can't see myself not doing it at all. However, the same thing what you were saying, I paid big bucks, like $580 for a weekend course that I learned nothing, Jay, nothing.
Yeah.
But like you got to fall, bleed on your knees, lick your own wounds, because that made us understand that we are ready when spirit are telling us we're ready.
Yeah.
And we need to go through those bad things, because when we become teachers, we let our student know this is what's going to be out in the world. There are going to be those who think they know it all, or they think that Jesus, the ego. And when you are a natural gifted person, you just need to learn how to work with it, correct?
Exactly.
Now, do you also, going back to the rough time a little bit, do you think also because you're a male? Have you noticed the industry's female and then you got males? How was that for you?
Well, yeah, it kind of is. And without being politically incorrect, you know, it's even harder if you're a male with a family, because I have lots of friends within the community, and within the LGBTQ, I don't know the acronym, sorry, within that community as well, that the males have the abilities that I do. And I think the reason why it comes across hard with the family is because when you're a male that does this, you have to be in touch with the feminine side. You have to be able to express your feelings, and it's hard for some males to be able to express their feelings. And you know, when I first started reading, I did get emotionally involved with a lot of the readings, but you have to with time and with growth and all that good stuff, you understand that the reading's for them. You know, like sometimes when
Yeah.
when I was beginning to read, you'd be getting all these messages, and then you'd finish the read and you'd be like, oh, maybe I can take a lot from that reading. So you kind of have to remove yourself from that. But definitely as a male, it has been a little bit different. And yeah, but I
Let's call
still
it
love what I do.
challenging. A little bit challenging, but that's about it.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah,
That's fantastic,
definitely.
Joe.
Yeah.
So what does your family think about it now that you're doing so good and people know you and you're a star?
Yeah, it's very accepting from my wife's side of the family. Very, very accepting. You know, they come to me now with. Sorry, my dog's at my feet. Just hang
Oh,
on
bring
2
your
seconds.
dog. He's so gorgeous. He showed me his dog before. I thought it was the sausage dog. You'll see why. Look at his face. He's like a Peter Alexander. He's like a little Peter Alexander pajamas.
He's a,
He
he's a
looks like a
little.
sausage dog.
So yeah. So, but sorry. Back to your question. My wife's family was very good. My dad's accepting, but he's still very, very skeptical because my dad is very blokey bloke, and we're growing up. I wasn't blokey bloke because I was more worried about how people were feeling, and I'd be the one in the middle of the I'd be the one in the middle of the game walking off to make sure that the people that were hurt were okay. Whereas my dad would be like, they're right, mate. Like,
right. Yeah.
But just that, just that kind of stuff. Like,
oh, wow, that's amazing.
But there is definitely my wife and my children are probably my biggest fans, which is really good.
Isn't that an awesome feeling? That's all you need to keep going. I know that my mum is proud of me. In the beginning, she was worried that I was going, like I said, 5th generation. My mum's more psychically. And her worry was that she wanted me to be normal. So I went to a non-private school and she wanted me to be normal. Okay. But I'm glad she didn't nurture me, Jay, because I learned the hard way, seeing spirits. And look, I always share this story, and I'm going to share it one more time with you, that the first time I saw someone physically was at the age around 12, 13. Prior to that, it was just on the side, and it was at a mass. So it was around Easter time, and the churches have their chairs that go in a row, right? And then as you go to the altar, they're facing the other way for the quiet children or things like that. Now, I'll never forget that I was in the 3rd row, bought us anything. I was going to say bought us hell, but we can't say that. Bought us anything. And I'm looking and I saw a lady sitting there. She smiled. I smiled back, an elderly lady, very old. And then I looked back again and I went to look at her again. She was gone. And I thought, far out, she's quick for a little old lady to be just like that. As we're walking out of mass, I see a photo of her saying, in loving memories at 3 o'clock is such as say Miss Jones' funeral. It was that lady waiting for her funeral. Do you understand? And I was like, okay. And then things started happening more and more. But then, like you said, then you got to do life. But regardless that you do life, it's always there in the back of your head, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, so now when I travel and I do help others, children, I can tell you got to define the line between mental health as well. So you got to be wary. I'm blessed that I've also got a course and I'm a qualified counsellor welfare worker. So I can see that little line. And that's when I can see, okay, this is exactly what's going on. Your daughter's fine. Things are going to be okay. They need a further assistance, help. Now, going back to you, because we got to finish soon. I think I'm not even looking at the time. This is so much fun talking to you, Jay. You said you're a teacher. Can you talk to us about where you teach? Where can people find you if they want to join classes? And what exactly do you teach? Give me time, date, address. Give me everything. We want to know it all.
I do several courses, workshops throughout the year, but it's they are sporadically spread because I actually do work full time within the within my local health district as well. So they are spread out throughout the year. But I do a psychic awareness level 1, 2, 3, so beginner, intermediate, and advanced. I've also teach angelic healing because I'm an angelic healing practitioner as well. And last year I finished up with the working with angels, and I also next year I'm doing a numerology. So there's lots of things, but like I said at the beginning, you have to master something before you go on, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah. Because you can't be all over the shop.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, when people come to us for our services, we do charge them a price. And when people come to us, it's disposable income, so they want to be able to get bang for their buck. So you don't want to go in half-hearted just for on an ego trip saying, oh, okay, I've read a book on numerology, so this is how it's going to go. I'm now going to teach it. You can't do that. You have to practice it. You have to be able to understand the workings behind it, the workings within it, and every aspect of it before you go through. My psychic level medium, my psychic beginner to advanced, that goes through everything. So it goes through all the clairs that we use. It goes through the difference between a medium and a psychic. It also, one of my favorite things is the look, listen and feel method. It goes into about connections and how to establish connections. And I can tell you, one of the biggest things that holds people back from actually connecting is themselves, because they want it so hard. They want it so much that, you know, it's kind of like they're ready to go through that door. But then what happens is, and this is what I tell my students as well, is if you try too hard and you're headbutting that door too hard, you actually swell. So you can't fit through the door then. The door opens and you can't fit through.
That's so good. I love it. Yeah, I love that saying.
It's just like, let everything... My daughter's home. Hello.
We forgive you because we love your dad.
So she's gone on a double date with her sister and their boyfriend. So,
easy life.
Yeah. So that's what I think. Like, and I just teach people that it's really quite easy, and it need not be hard. The hard thing is the boundaries, and that really needs to be stressed. That the hard thing with working with spirit is the boundaries that you set. And one of the most important things to understand when working with spirit and working with any energy is the intention behind it. Okay, so you can't just go in with the intention of talking to spirit, because you could end up talking to some very low vibrational spirit. Yeah, and it can cause issues. So that's what it's all about as well. It's about the protection and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, majority of all my classes and our events and everything are on my group, which is on Facebook, and it is a group. It's not a page. That way, it kind of protects the people that are in it. If that makes sense.
So just in case you've just tuned in, the group is actually down the bottom. It's going across. It's you can see it, the group number. Just go on that link and you'll go straight to his. Yeah, they'll go straight to him, to his face. Or you can also Google him on. Go on. What can we Google you on?
I didn't know you could Google me, but
I Googled you.
We'll just put in Jay Reynolds Spiritual Intuitive. I guess that would come up. And it'll bring up the Facebook group. And like I said, I have an admin team, which is my wife, my beautiful wife. She's the admin team. So I don't actually accept anyone, only because you don't want that stigma of people saying, oh, well, you know, he must have looked at our Facebook or he must have done some research, because I don't do any of that, because I don't need to be
I didn't even know that existed, that people needed to go through all that length and, you know, to pick and choose. Interesting.
That's what I mean. To be completely frank, I don't need to, because I trust my connection. So that's what, but just as a safeguard, my wife makes sure that she accepts some people, like the people that come through, and then you just go from there. And my readings are available on there as well, but I will tell you, I'm probably booked out to around April next year, so you won't get into me before the end of the year.
Oh my God, now's the time, guys, for next year. Put your name down, buy a gift, buy a voucher for someone for next year. Oh my God, Jay's so good. Jay, can I ask you something else, darling? So we've covered the workshop, we've covered your teaching, we've covered a bit about where you're from and how you started. What's your advice? And I know you've said it, but you know, people are wanting to know. Your advice for beginners is?
My advice for the beginners is to understand your intention and to break it down. So when you say if you come out one morning and you're like, oh, I'm going to bake a cake, Yes, that's the intention, but you have to realize the steps involved, okay? Break it down into simple things that can be achieved and easily achieved so that you don't feel disheartened when things don't happen correctly or don't happen straight away. So, you know, with regards to baking a cake, it's get all the ingredients together. With regards to working in spirit, it's understanding the smaller steps involved to eventually get to that working with spirit. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So start step by step. Don't start step 1, 2, and jump to 10 when there's so much in between you need to learn to before you get there.
Definitely.
Like you said earlier, that people get excited and they want to do everything, but when they get on top, what happens? They go, oh, I don't really know what's going on. They get overwhelmed, and then you don't see them anymore in the industry because they forgot to go on step 3, 4, and 5 that were vital to step 10 for your understanding. So it's always easier to learn from basics because the teachers like yourself, like myself, are here to help you, to assist you.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
You're on your own. And then you're on your own. Look, you got a nice feedback from Teresa saying, what a great advice you are giving, Jay. And this is what this program is all about, understanding how each and one of us as intuitive, psychic, mediums, healers, palm readers, anything that's got to do with healing, how we work. You know, this is not just about that myth of the way America make it look like. And there's another thing I want to ask you, okay? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you really ready?
Yeah.
What do you think of Halloween?
Halloween. Well, yeah. It's not that it's a tricky time of the year, but it's a very the veil seems to be very thin over Halloween weekend or whenever Halloween's happening, and when I say thin, it just feels like the atmosphere. Like I think as a collective, like the communities and neighborhoods get together and there's all this spooky and nice kind of thing, and really at the end of the day, working with spirit and working with energy, sometimes people do say, oh no, that's spooky kind of thing. So on that kind of around that time, people accept the spookiness and all that kind of stuff, and I think it actually attracts the veil to be a little bit lighter.
I think it's just their own energy.
Yeah. So it's really good to do readings on Halloween. It's really good. Yeah, because everyone, like the community as a whole, if your community celebrates Halloween, which they definitely do down here, it kind of just lessens the veil, and it's like these spirits are going, oh, you know what, everyone's open to this spooky stuff tonight, so it's okay. So I really.
The way, are you there?
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, you were like a mannequin. And I'm like, you there?
Yeah, I can do
You know what? Being from South America, I'll tell you what now. Are you for real?
Yeah.
Oh, you got me.
Yeah, I did.
I'll pay you back when you invite me to your little show again. Going back to the Halloween, I'm going to tell you something. Being from South America, Halloween is got nothing to do with the way American has done it and Australia has followed. For us, and I'm going to swear, like my son swears when he was little. He said, Mum, I'm so angry today, I'm going to say the F word. And I said, all right, you say it to me, but not in front of your sisters. And he said it. Bloody oath. That was his F word. And I'm going to say it. Bloody oath. I don't agree with all this Halloween. I don't care if you throw eggs at me, tomato. Halloween, American has made it look like it's scary, dead people, zombies, and all this disgusting, horrible, scary thing. Halloween, the true meaning is the celebration of your ancestors who have crossed over. You are celebrating the life they had. And the way we do it, it's like having a dinner, candles, and it's a beautiful memory of celebrating the life they had. But America turned it around. You know, you're walking around headless and all this bullshit. So for me, don't come and knocking on my door, please. Just in case. I'm in Brisbane. Don't come knocking at my door because you ain't going to get no treat or candy. I'm asleep.
But with what I was saying is that because as a community, people are so okay with saying. Because they're so okay with it around that time. It lightens the veil and the spirits are like, oh, everyone's sort of accepting of it tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And I totally agree with you. Okay, I've got a question here for you. Oh, the same person. Okay, Jane Chantel, I'm curious as a professional, do you have insurance? I heard of some people getting sued in America. That's a good question.
Most definitely, I do.
Yeah. Yes, Teresa, we all do. And
Yep.
we also have what we call some psychics, some mediums that you've seen on television that have been taken to court for saying this and that. For me, Jay, for you too. Sadly, I don't agree with what they have done myself, because the way it works is that we do not give legal advice because we're not solicitors. We do not give medical because we're not practitioners. We can give you certain advice by spirit or communication or guidance, what they're saying, but that is not a means or an affirmative way of saying you need to do this, because at the end of the day, you are the expert of your own life and choices. Is that correct? How do you see it, Jane?
Yeah, it's very true what you say. Like, we can give the advice that we're given, and people have to understand that we're not giving the advice from our own self. We're giving the advice that we're intuitively given by a spirit, by the energy around you. And Chantel's very correct. We can't give any legal, medical, or financial advice or any other professional advice with regards to a professional in that field. Because at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own free will. So what you do with that advice is up to you. We are simply the conduit or the bridge that can give you that advice, because a lot of the advice that I particularly give out in readings comes from people who have passed away, and generally the advice part of it, the advice aspect of the read, comes from like grandparents who have had life experiences and know what those people that are still living on this plane are going through. So it's not so much that they're giving advice, they're giving wisdom. And they're sharing the wisdom.
And evidence that there is life after death, because they tell us things that only you will understand. We don't know you when we read to you, and all these amazing events come that only you can say, oh my God, yeah, that did happen when we were younger. Grandpa used to smoke a pipe, and he did used to drive that car, and he did used to take us camping. So once we give you the evidence, we know who we're talking to, then we move forward. So what's the message? But it's never going to be, oh, don't sign the documents because you will go to jail. That will never happen. And if anyone does that to you guys, please reconsider getting another reader, another person to read you.
Exactly. That's so true, because most of the time that you'll find, and I don't like using the word, but there is people out there who are charlatans. So most of those ones are the ones that are going to offer that kind of advice, saying, don't sign the form, don't do this, don't do that, or I can help you if you give me more money. That's a first sign for you to...
Or I can cure you from a disease. Disease within the body that someone has, I can heal you. I will never dirty my hands like that, Jay.
No, me either. And most reputable or trusted psychic mediums out there, Teresa, will have a disclaimer that explains all this, what we can and can't do. You'll also know that those ones that are credible will allow you to record the readings. The ones that are credible will actually run by a psychic code of ethics. And we keep confidentiality. Don't get me wrong, there is sometimes when I talk about people's previous reads that I've done, but I've always said to them, once I've delivered the message at the end of the reading, I've said, that was really insightful for me. Do you mind if I use aspects of that reading through my teachings, or when I'm on live shows like this? And generally people will say, yes, that's fine. But I don't ever divulge anything that is really personal. It's just the amazing things that happen, the things that shock you as a medium, when you're like, oh shit, that kind of stuff. But obviously, with regards to insurance, we do have to have insurance if we do like expos and stuff like that.
Even live events. I do a lot of live events, Teresa, where you stand up in front of 100 people. So that's $20 million that you have to be part of that we pay. But yes, the answer is those who are genuine, those who are true to what we do pay We do pay taxes. We do pay for our own, what's it called, super. So we make our own wages. And yes, we do pay insurance.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Jay? Because he's got like 10, 15 minutes to go. So if you've got any questions in relations to what Jay does, where you can find him, or anything that's got to do with spiritual, have you ever experienced something that you would like to discuss about? Have you ever heard noises like Jay did? He could hear his mum. Like he would drive through the cemetery every day where his mother was buried, right near the road, and he would drive every day and say, hello mum, hello mum, hello mum, or good day mum. And one day, oh no, hello mum, how are you? And one day she said, I'm here still buried, I'm still dead, or something along those lines. And that's when he went, what? So that was his part of his journey. So if you listen to this podcast when you go, once it's downloaded, have a listen to it. And those who have been online, now's a good time to ask Jay questions. The other thing I was going to ask you, you said something about November. You've got an event coming. Can you tell us more a bit about that? And how can people, if they want to put their own little store, is it too late? How can they do it? How much is the entrance? Location? How do we get to you, please?
All right, so my wife and I are running a Mind, Body, Spirit Psychic Expo in Narendra on the 18th and 19th of November, 10 till 5:30 both days. Narendra Ex-Servicemen's Club. I know that Narendra is quite an, you know, it's way out of town, but there might be someone out there who's like, you know what, Narendra's close enough for me to go. So we'll go. We are actually full up on all our vendors, so we have no room left for any more stores, but we've got an amazing amount of readers, and we've got a very different variety of readers. We've got a 20-year tarot veteran who is amazing at her tarot readings. We've got a qualified oracle reader. We've got a spiritual scriber who actually does her messages through scribing. We've also got an animal communicator. We've got a psychic medium, two brilliant psychic mediums from Sydney. One from Sydney and then another one's from Cowra, I believe. And I think we're looking at bringing in a PLR, which is a past life regression psychic. So they're coming in. We've got butterfly healers. We've got Reiki healers. We've got crystal healers. All these wonderful modalities coming together. It's $2 entry. Obviously, there's fees involved for if you want any of the services. But yeah, it's just $2 entry, and we've got some retailers as well. We've got a crystal retailer, a candle retailer. We've got natural products, it's just huge. And we've got wall banners. Yeah, we've got wall banners and all that kind of stuff happening. So it's at the Narendra Ex-Servicemen's Club on the 18th and 19th of November.
That's really good. And tell us something else. So if you want to be connected with Jay, just Google him, Jay Reynolds. He'll come up right there and then you automatically go to his Facebook. The other thing that I was going to say is that you've been very quiet about your radio. What are you doing on the radio? Tell us a bit more.
We run a local radio program called the Comedians Monday Night in Light Us show. It's between 8 and 10 on community radio, but with the wonderful modern technology now, you can tune into it anywhere in the world. It also comes up on the live. We do a live Facebook Live from the studio as well, but you can tune in anywhere using a TuneIn app. And it's really it's a bit of a train wreck some weeks because there's so much shenanigans that go on there between me and my friend. We just really have a really good time, but we give away about 20 reads per week, and wow, that adds a lot of a lot of excitement as well, because sometimes we get about 40, 50 people like watching at once, and they're all trying to get in, and spiritually we're like, oh, we can only do 20. So yes, and we also play a nice range of music as well, and just general discussions as well. But and it's every Monday between 8 and 10 on 2 MIA FM 95.1. So if you write that down and put that into your tune in, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to listen into it. Otherwise, another thing to look up on Facebook is the Monday in Light. So Monday in Light, not N Light. So IN space LIGHT, in Light Us show with the comedians. We call ourselves the comedians because
you're a comedian.
Well, we think they're hilarious. So, and we connect in
You and
spirit.
your
So,
family, they're the only fan, right? No, you are.
yeah.
You guys are good. I've heard you.
I
Yeah.
just want to tell a story. I was telling you before about confidentiality between readers and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
I tell this story about one of my first holy shit moments where when I was doing a read. Was just before I started the read, I walked past at our old house. Our lounge room used to come off to the right, and I walked past and I could see this man outside, and he was patting our cat. And I thought, oh, that must be connected to this reading that I'm about to go into. So anyway, I saw that the gentleman was an older gentleman, and I said to the girl, I said, I believe, to the lady that I was reading, I believe that your father may have been here earlier because there was a man outside playing, like patting our cat. And she said to me, what colour is the cat? Because that will determine if it was my dad. And I said, the cat was white and ginger. And she goes, that would be dad because he didn't like any other cats but white and ginger. And I said, well, our cat Bailey was really lapping it up, and she lost it. She's like, my dad's cat's name was Bailey.
Shut the front gate. Oh my God. My head's again.
So that's when I was like, holy crap.
Bullshit again.
Yeah.
That is amazing, Jay. That is
and that's the kind of stuff that you can agree with, Chantel, when that kind of stuff happens, you're just like, yep, this is it. This is what I'm meant to be doing because it's truthful and I believe it and I believe in myself.
That's the main thing, believing in yourself, because when you're beginning to do this, a lot of your doubts, and that's when you put it this way. I was at the and I was telling another lady that, because I went to the Mind Body Festival in Sydney, and that one of the ladies said to me, how do you do it? Because I was one after one after one. She said, are you sure you don't want to break? And I said, no, I'm on a roll. Please come, sit down. I'll go to the toilet later. And she said to me, how do you do it? How do you not change? We learn to cut cords. We learn not to carry other people's energy. We have learned not to be attached. Well, the way that you said before as well, emotionally. However, the emotion comes regardless. I do sometimes cry when something very, very strong happens. And the same thing, she was saying to me, I forgot what I was saying, Jay. But anyway, it was along those lines that she said to me, how do you do it that you don't disconnect and automatically connect? And it's just spot on, because I had a man who sat down and the first thing that came was his dog to say thank you for what, thank you for what you did, because he had to actually put him down because it was suffering too much. And he just looked at me and he said, how did you know? Yeah. And that's when I went, oh shit, oh yeah, I'm a psychic medium. You're in the psychic medium event here, and I am, But you're right. At first, I was doubting myself, but I wasn't. I was like, how can I do this? So that's the connection. What we do, what I'm sure you do as well, I disconnect my own thoughts. See you later. Allow, with love and light and spirit guide and all those, your ancestors who are looking out for you, to come in. And that's when you see spirit, and that's when you connect straight. And they give you names, colors, and all that. Because if we overthink on what's coming through, I don't call it ego, but that's when our self-doubt comes. So every time I do a live performance, church, platform, whatever, I don't overthink what I'm doing. I just go, get it over and done with, because the minute I sit there and think, that's when I start questioning. So we were talking before to beginners. If you're going to go through this, trust your intuitive, trust your gut feeling. I work a lot with chakras because they're energy. And the same thing you were saying, some people have their chakras so close because they want to learn so much. But I love what you said. They hit their head on the wall that it swellens. For me, I say they can't get through it. And that I describe it with chakras. I say, because there's 7 wheels. And I say, and the more you want to try, the more they start shutting down, that they can't read, because it's the veil. It's a fine little line that you got to get through. But it's the same thing. Just allow it, trust it, and it'll come. It'll kick you in the ass when you least expect it.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like I was talking about the crying and everything. I think I still get emotional with readings, but I've come to learn that when I'm getting emotional with readings, it's because there's a healing aspect to it coming through. There's a release. So I feel the release coming, and then when I'm looking at the person, then they're releasing, and I'm like, so that's why I feel like I'm getting emotional. But some readings, like I don't get any emotion, because at that stage I call them validational readings and healing readings. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a healing reading comes through. Sorry.
You there? Yeah, no, I heard you.
No, I'm here. Oh, it's
my turn. My turn.
You. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I do. I see them as validational readings and healing readings. So when there's a healing reading, the people are coming to you because, you know, they want to, there's some aspect of healing from hearing from a spirited loved one, whereas others just need validation that they're still around. So yeah, and another thing too, particularly with beginners, is that we've all been fashioned in with these horrible words. Like, I was speaking to one of the people that I talk to at my job, who's very spirited. I was speaking to her, and I said, we've all been like molded into these words that are quite damaging for up and coming psychic mediums. Like, you know, when we're younger and we, like, a younger child sees something and we're like, oh, it's just in your imagination. Imagination is actually a really damaging word. That's a visualization of spirit that's coming through to them, or a visualization of energy. So, you know, you've kind of got to change your mindset as well when you want to open to spirit. Like, you can't use words such as, you know, oh, that just happened as a coincidence. Coincidence should not be in your vocabulary. You should replace it with synchronicity. So it's happened for a reason. There's a reason why that happened, and you have to understand the spiritual aspect behind it. Don't use imagination as a word. Just like, oh, I thought I seen some light come across me, but I thought it was in my imagination. No, you saw light because you visualized it, and that spirit connection. Just simple things like that. Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's so simple. And, you know, you don't have to...
where you're saying just open and trust it. Is that what you're saying? So when you see things, don't double doubt yourself. Just go, oh, enjoy that. Say, oh, wow, I got a gift from spirit. I just saw that. Yeah. And accept it.
But then again, don't go into meditation saying, I want to open my third eye. Come on, come on, come on, because it's not going to happen. All right? You know, some people have this massive boom moment, but I didn't. Mine was just like a aha kind of moment. So,
and the boom moments as well, Jay, I also explain it. I don't know if you would agree with me. It's spirit nudging you, what's happening, what's ahead of you. So be patient. So a lot of people don't have the patience. And remember, that's a tool. If you can handle that tool and forgive and heal so you can move forward, because most of us have forgiven a lot of things from the past, because what the universe did is gave them to us to experience, but not to keep and carry them with us. So you let go and you say, thank you. I don't have to agree with whatever happened and the pain and all that. But I now let go so I can now move forward. And then you are allowing spirit to give you more information. So you're not carrying your past, and you're able to carry what's going on, if that makes sense. Because a lot has to do with us, again, energy, our mental state, how we think, how we look at things, how we react to things. And that's another subject. That's called manifestation, when we start going to the next level. But everything takes steps. So, all right, look, we're coming to an end with you pretty soon, because I know you've got another reading to do. What would you like to do anything before we leave?
Well, I've actually drawn a card for the collective for those that are watching, and it's actually really, you saw that I drew the card before we come onto the show, and it's actually quite fitting because it's with regards to the first chakra, which is your base, as you would know, or sometimes called the root chakra, but I'll go with base. Are you right with going with base?
Let me think about it. Of course. It's base, root. It's your grounding.
Yeah, it's with regard to, I think it fits in well with what we were talking about, particularly with beginners, because it talks about courage and faith, and, you know, how you should really embrace the courage to step forward. So embrace it. And, you know, I also need people to realize that you're probably going to lose some friends. I lost a lot of friends, not through the fact that I said, "Oh, you know, I'm a psychic medium," and they were all like, "You know what, you're a weirdo," and they left.
Yeah.
It was more along the fact that I realized I didn't align with them. I felt used by some of them. So you've got to be able to have the courage to step forward, but also with that courage comes faith and adaptability. So make sure that you have the faith in what you're doing. And yeah, it's all about also regularly reminding yourself to be positive, because throughout all this experience of growth, it can sometimes feel like it's, you know, one step forward and three steps back. So make sure that you're always reminding yourself to be positive and be open to the amazing possibilities that are coming through. And then finally, I'm just looking at the card to get the readings through. The other thing that you've got to do too is really embrace your inner warrior, or warrior is a warrioress if you're a female. Is that what it is?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, and just, you know, don't be worried about being a victim anymore. Move forward with courage and like faith and adaptability. And at the end of the day, too, feeling the fear is okay, because it allows you to put up the boundaries of what you will and won't accept moving forward on your journey. So that's my advice to everyone.
Thank you so much. And that was in the card that you said you were going to pull out, or is that a different thing?
Yeah, no, I was just, the card just comes up with a colour, and it just,
Well, thank you, Jay, so much for your time. I'm sure the people that
doesn't show much, that's that.
No, I've got those cards too whenever I'm feeling a bit, I know that it's my throat chakra that needs to get out there. You know what? I just want to say thank you so much, Jay, for joining me today. It means a lot to be, you know, you're my second amazing person, Jay, my second episode. And hope to see you some point again. When you've got anything to say, let me know. And thank you once again.
Thank you so much for the invite, and thank you also for the plug of my group and what I do. And, you know, like I said, it's really nice to come on and just, I could talk for hours. I don't have time because I got to ring this gentleman in the UK. But
can you cancel it? Let's have a cup of tea and keep going. No, I'm only kidding. You got to be professional.
It's just so nice to talk about what we do, because so many people
share it. Networking. It's all about sharing, networking. And look, guys, if you want to catch up with Jay, just Google him, because I did, and he came up, and that's how I downloaded the photo of him on the radio.
Oh wow! Okay.
Stalker. Yeah, I'm a stalker. But anyway, thank you so much, Jay. I'll let you go. Run off, and you take care. Thank you. Radio, everyone, that was Jay Reynolds. How amazing is he? So if you want to catch up with him, go to his website or go to his Facebook, Jay Reynolds. You can also see more underneath there, the information where you can catch him if you're within that area, or if you ever want a reading. I mean, he's booked out, what did he say, till August next year or July. Look, I'll play it back and hear it. But wow, not even I'm that busy. Good on him. All right, darling, you take care, everybody. If there's anything that, or if you are out there and you are a reader or have some kind of a healer or anything like that and would like to be known, would like to share your knowledge, share anything that's got to do with spiritual connecting, please email me or send me a message. Let me know. We're happy to share you here and talk about spirit, everything that's spiritual. Now, I know there are some events happening pretty soon. I know that I'm going to try and get Veronica Hale, she actually organizes the Fairytopia, the hippie picnic, I think it is, the hippie expo. So I'll try and get her next week at some point so she can give us more information. And she actually is here from Brisbane, but a lot of people have come down from New South Wales, Melbourne, just to come in and be part of her events. The other thing is that next week I've got Ruth coming in. For those who don't know Ruth, Ruth is a healer, Reiki. She's going to talk to us about all that. But her speciality has to do with sexuality and energy. So sex and spirit, there is a big connection there. So I hope you can join me next week. It'll be at the same time. I'm going to stick to the everybody else's time, New South Wales time, not Queensland, because I think we're always behind with everything and it works better for people. So I hope you can join me then. And like I said, thank you so much for joining today, my episode 2. And yeah, I hope you can join us next time. Thank you very much. You take care, sending you much love and healing out your way. Thank you, guys. Bye.